Welcome to the Agile Podcast.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving deep into something that causes a lot of discussion, the relationship between Scrum and the Scaled Agile Framework, or SAFe.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a guide from Evernote and Scrum.org that sheds some really interesting light on this.
It really does because, many people think you have to pick one, Scrum or SAFe,
Well,
like they're rivals.
Exactly. But the reality, and what this guide really highlights, is that they can be, well, very effective allies. It's more about how they fit together.
Right. So Scrum is brilliant at the team level, isn't it? How small cross-functional teams get stuff done.
It's the engine, you could say. Highly focused, iterative.
And SAFe. That operates more at the enterprise level. It gives you that structure for managing and coordinating lots of teams, often teams that are already using Scrum.
Think of it like Scrum's the powerful engine in your car, and SAFe is maybe the GPS, the overall roadmap, and maybe even the traffic control system for the whole journey.
That's a great analogy. So our mission today is really to unpack how these two frameworks complement each other.
Yeah, and how using them together can help organizations hit those key goals they're aiming for.
We'll dig into the why go agile in the first place, then how Scrum and SAFe can actually work hand in glove.
And the benefits, the tangible results you can expect. Plus, we've got a really neat real-world example from Avanon's own experience.
Sounds good. So if you're curious about boosting your organization's speed, its flexibility, its overall impact, you're definitely in the right place.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with that fundamental question. Why even go agile? What's the organization actually trying to achieve?
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But the guide really stresses how crucial it is to clearly define this upfront. It drives all the later decisions.
Totally. And the motivations are often quite similar across organizations, right? Things like faster time to market.
Definitely. Getting products and features out the door quicker. Increased flexibility is another big one, adapting to change.
Yeah, being able to respond when the market shifts or you get new customer feedback. And transparency.
Crucial. Better visibility into what's actually happening, where the progress is, where the roadblocks might be.
And then there are often hopes for cost savings through efficiency and definitely delivering higher quality products.
But it's not just listing these, is it?
Mm.
The guide points towards needing deeper conversations, really understanding your organization's specific needs, its capabilities.
Right. To figure out the best path, should the focus be just on teams initially, or does it need to be an enterprise-wide thing from the start?
That self-assessment piece is key. And the journey itself often has steps.
Ah, yes. The guide mentioned 4 core steps, I think.
That's right. First, building the foundations, getting the mindset right, having leadership buy-in.
Okay, then pilot projects, starting small.
Exactly. Usually with Scrum teams. Prove the concept, learn lessons.
And then scaling the teams. That's where SAFe might come in.
Potentially, yeah. Or other scaling approaches. And the final step is that continuous cycle, inspect and adapt, always improving.
Makes sense. So let's say an organization is aiming for that enterprise agility and they've chosen SAFe. How does Scrum fit in then?
Well, the recommendation, especially if you're starting out, is to focus first on SAFe's essential layer. That's kind of the core building block.
And within that essential layer,
Use Scrum as the fundamental way the individual teams work. Keep it consistent.
okay. And they suggest starting with just one product to avoid getting too complex too early.
Yeah, nail it with one product first. Get the teams aligned, communicating well, using Scrum practices within the SAFe structure.
And if you're already using Scrum effectively,
Good news. Much of what your teams are already doing, their practices, their way of working, can likely be retained and leveraged within SAFe.
that's a big plus because Scrum brings that consistent way of thinking, those core values, commitment, courage,
Focus, openness, respect. Exactly. And those values really support the whole process.
plus the empirical principles, transparency, inspection, adaptation. That's the heart of Scrum's improvement cycle, isn't it?
Absolutely. Empiricism is key. Making decisions based on what you actually see, on facts, experience, evidence.
And those short sprint cycles really drive that, delivering at least one done increment per sprint, maybe more.
Right. You get feedback fast. Now, SAFe has its big inspect and adapt event at the end of a program increment, which is important for the bigger picture.
But that's over a longer time scale, maybe 8, 12 weeks.
Typically, yes. Whereas Scrum gives you those much more frequent feedback loops within the sprints. Daily scrums, sprint reviews, retrospectives.
So you can inspect and adapt much faster at the team level.
Precisely. Which ultimately helps increase the value you're delivering because you can course correct sooner.
So the ideal journey maybe starts at the team level. Get Scrum working well first.
That seems to be the suggestion. Build that strong foundation with Scrum before you necessarily scale up to program and portfolio levels, if you even have those.
And Scrum teams being self-managing, that's a core part of it too.
Hugely important. Empowering the teams to figure out the best way to deliver value, guided by the Scrum values and empiricism.
And how does that mesh with SAFe? SAFe has its own principles, like the House of Lean.
It aligns really well, actually. SAFEs focus on, for example, the shortest sustainable lead time, getting value flowing quickly. Really depends on having empowered, effective teams. SAFe provides the system view, Scrum provides the team engine.
And that dual operating system idea in SAFe is interesting too.
Yeah, the idea that you build on the stability of the existing organization, but organize work around the flow of value, it fosters innovation without blowing up the whole structure.
So it's about building processes around business agility, nurturing the right mindset everywhere.
Exactly. And a practical tip from the guide, when you look at SAFes,
Mm.
really question if you need all the suggested controls right away.
Tailor it to your context.
Yes. Focus on the core Agile values and what actually helps your organization deliver value. Don't just adopt the whole thing because it's there.
Right. Focus on the principles, not just the practices blindly. Okay, let's talk benefits. What happens when you get this combination right? Quality, for instance.
Big improvements often seen there. Scrum's frequent sprint reviews mean you get customer eyes on the product early and often. You catch misunderstandings fast.
And SAFe adds to that.
It does, by incorporating built-in quality practices across the board. Things like test automation, continuous integration, essential for maintaining flow and quality when you've got lots of teams working together. It helps prevent rework down the line.
Makes sense. What about the teams themselves? Team centricity.
Both frameworks really champion the Agile team. Cross-functional, self-organizing, focused on collaboration and transparency, all working towards a clear vision. SAFe just extends that concept across multiple teams aligned to a value stream.
And productivity. Does combining them make teams more productive?
Well, the constant collaboration with customers, which both frameworks encourage, means you're building the right thing. Less wasted effort.
So more focus.
Exactly. More focus, reduced risk, because you're getting feedback constantly. And that leads to increased productivity through consistent, valuable delivery.
And the big one, shorter time to market.
Yeah, Scrum helps by delivering usable features in short sprints. You get value out faster in smaller chunks, and you can change direction easily.
And SAFe's role.
SAFe helps align all those teams working on different parts of the bigger picture, coordinating their efforts towards common goals and release schedules. This streamlines decision-making and communication across the larger group, getting the whole solution to market faster.
Okay, theory sounds good, but let's make it concrete with that Avanade example. What was the situation there?
Right, so Avanade had this long-standing client using a very traditional waterfall-style delivery approach.
And they had a big project.
Huge, migrating 600 functional areas.
Yeah.
But after 6 months of work,
Yeah.
they'd only managed to migrate 30.
Ouch. It's
Yeah.
not fast.
Not at all. So the client, understandably, wanted to explore Agile. They needed better time to market, more flexibility.
So Avanade brought in an agile coach.
Yep. And they started smart with a pilot. They set up 3 independent teams to use Scrum for 3 months.
To compare directly with the old way.
Exactly. And the coach's role was really advisory, making sure the product owner was involved and supported, motivated the teams, helping build and prioritize the backlog, bringing in Scrum Masters.
And the result, after 3 months?
The business owner saw clearly. The Scrum teams were delivering significantly more value much more quickly than the traditional teams. The difference was stark.
So the decision was made, go agile for the whole thing.
Yes, which immediately brought up the next challenge. How do you scale this? You can't just have 7, 8, 10 Scrum teams working independently on the same product without coordination.
Right, dependencies, integration. It gets messy.
So they implemented the Nexus framework. Nexus is designed specifically for scaling Scrum when you have multiple teams working on a single product backlog.
So Scrum for the teams, Nexus to coordinate the team.
Precisely. They formed 7 Scrum teams, each tackling different functional areas, but using Nexus to integrate their work into one combined increment each sprint.
And they kept delivering value.
They did. Continuously improving, reprioritizing the backlog based on business needs and feedback. But then the business wanted to scale even further. We're talking over 150 people involved.
Okay, Nexus might start to strain at that level. You need more structure.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
More controls, more portfolio-level visibility. And they happened to see a safe pilot running successfully elsewhere in their IT department.
Ah, so they saw proof it could work in their context.
Exactly. So they made the call to invest in SAFe for that higher-level coordination and portfolio management.
So the final picture was Scrum at the team level,
Nexus coordinating groups of teams working on the same product.
and SAFe providing the overarching structure at the portfolio level.
That's it, a layered approach.
Right.
And it worked. They got continuous value delivery,
Yeah.
and it was so successful they started bringing more projects under that SAFe umbrella, like a big call center migration.
What were the keys to making that multi-layered approach work?
Well, first, the continued effective use of Scrum at the team level was foundational. That engine had to be running well.
Okay, what else?
Investment in training was crucial. Getting people skilled up in the necessary SAFe roles, like the release train engineer.
Right, you need people who understand how to operate the framework.
And ongoing support from Agile coaches and Scrum masters. That guidance is vital, especially during a transformation.
So over 2 years, the whole IT org moved to this combined approach using SAFe.
Pretty much, yeah. Leveraging Scrum, Nexus where needed, and SAFe for new projects. Quite a journey.
That really highlights some key takeaways for listeners, doesn't it?
Definitely. Like the importance of building that strong foundation first. Find and empower those internal champions for agility.
And don't be afraid to bring in outside help like that Agile coach to kickstart things and share experience.
Absolutely. And remember how Scrum helps embed those crucial behaviors, focusing on value, using empiricism right at the team level. That mindset is key.
Starting with pilots makes sense too. Prove the value, show the quality improvement.
And maybe start with just 1 or 2 Scrum teams. Let them really get the Scrum values down, help them grow before you try to scale massively.
And support those new teams, especially early on, so they don't slip back into old habits.
Crucial. Then, as you scale, frameworks like SAFe become valuable tools for organizing the portfolio and bringing agile practices to the whole enterprise.
But manage expectations, right? It's not magic.
Not at all. Agile won't instantly slash all costs or make everything twice as fast overnight, but it will lead to a better product, one that delivers real value sooner and more reliably.
And the final tip from the guide, use the resources. The SAFe implementation roadmap, the Scrum guide itself. They're your starting point.
Use them as guides on your journey towards your product goal, your organizational goals.
So really, the big picture here is that Scrum and SAFe aren't enemies. They're potential partners.
Complementary forces, exactly. Understanding how their strengths combine lets you tailor an approach that fits your specific needs.
And that's how you drive those meaningful results. Better speed, better flexibility, more value.
We really hope this deep dive has helped clarify how Scrum and SAFe can work together effectively. It's about finding that synergy.
It's about enhancing your organization's overall agility and its ability to deliver value consistently.
And embracing that continuous journey of learning and adapting along the way.
Thank you for listening to the Agile Podcast.